what I'm doing is just reading my week one study notes. What I'm gonna do is stream once next week starts. I'm gonna stream me reading the week two study notes as well as listening to it. Listen to it while at work. So I'm just gonna be reading my study notes. That's basically what I'm gonna be doing. Let's begin. Intro to computer programming. Oh, intro to computers and programming languages. Brief overview. Computer is a mainframe, it says, and micro software can be called computer programs and applications. Software is developed by using programming languages. The first device to calculate is known as a abacus. Hmm. Small size integrated circuits which replaced transistors because they were small. They were smaller and more efficient, and a single chip contained thousands of circuits. Having the microprocessor, which is an entire such a and a microprocessor, which is smaller version of a chip, if I'm correctly. It's a microprocessor. Microprocessor, which is an entire central processor unit, was implemented onto a single chip. The elements of a computer system. Basic commands of a computer system are input, get data, output, display is all storage. Oh shit. Basic commands are input, get data, output, display result, storage, and performance of arithmetic and logical operations. Hardware. It is a central processing unit CPU. Main memory slash random access memory RAM. Input slash output devices are keyboard, mouse, and secondary storage. The central processing unit and main memory. A CPU is the brain of a computer. I have a midterm and stuff like that. I'm gonna make sure at the start of the week I read the whole notes in the morning. I read the whole notes in the morning, like the chapter. Like if I'm two chapters in, I read chapter one and chapter two. Week one notes, week two notes, and at the end, once I'm done all the quiz and all the stuff, I read it again. Once I finish all of it on Sunday, once I finish the tests, the quizzes and stuff like that, I read it again until the midterm where I read it midterm and final term. I really confirmed. We're gonna go like that. Uh, bit is a binary digit 0 or 1. A sequence of 8 bits is called a byte. Hello, Little Tough, how are you? Hello, Little Tough, how are you today? Ah, shit, I gotta check something. If it's working on YouTube. Oh, it is working. Hawk. And hello, Little Tough, welcome to the channel. Yep, it's working. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to make sure if it's recording, if it's putting my speech program, which is speechchat.com. A digit of 0 or 1 is called a binary digit or bit, and a sequence of zeros or ones is referred to as a binary code or a binary number. A binary digit is 0 or 1. A sequence of 8 bits is called a byte. Most commonly used encoding scheme on personal computers is a 7-bit American Standard Code for Information Interchange, ASCII-2. There's something I want to check. I need to find it. Need to find 65536. Int. Int. A function is a set of statements whose objective. What chapter is this? A function is a set of statements. Function is a set of statements. A C+ program is a collection of functions, which is a set of statements whose objective is to accomplish something. Okay. I want to find the range of an int data type. Hello, Alicidra. How are you today? ABCDIC had 256 values. I want to see if, I think it's int 25653. If I'm correct, int can store 65,500, 356, 136. If I'm correct, how much can it store? I gotta check the references. I got a bookmark, go all the way to reserved words. You can go use one arrays, input to control 4, copy 4 and 5 is the same. 4, 5, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, week 6. Week 7. Nope, there's probably 1 week. And this is probably the control structures. The selection and repetition is probably the same. That's why. 4 and 5 are the same week. But I'm looking for C++ int. C++ int 655 536. Yeah, the output of the integer variable of value. As 16 binary digits. Oh, it's a number of characters in the original Unicode and currently on the Unicode. Oh, so it is Unicode. Let me see. Mm. Okay. The collection of functions that assume who's objective to accomplish something. All C++ program require the main function, if I'm correct. Comments for the user, double forward slash, yeah, forward slash, that's backward slash, forward slash. Put IO stream using namespace std int main left brace stream insertion operator. C++ makes it easy to store and access a specific memory location because we can assign alphanumeric name to them. Essentially, a variable is a memory location whose contents can be changed. Basics of a C++ program. So program slash function is a set of statements when activated or executed it encompasses some functions called predefined slash standard function or predefined or standard functions. Predefined always right. We may know it's predefined. I see. Some functions called predefined function are already written or provided as part of the system. I should have read it 3-4 times. I should have left it to something, but I still got an idea of it. Also, I gotta check if something. I gotta go on Discord and check something really quickly. The programs have functions of collecting the statements when activated or executed. The collection of statements when activated or executed accomplishes something. Some functions are called predefined / standard functions are already written, provided as part of the system. All C++ programs have a main function. To write meaningful program, you must learn the programming language, special symbols, words, and syntax rules. The syntax rules tells you which statements instructions are legal or valid, i.e. what are set to run. Semantic rules, which determine the meaning of the instruction. Syntax tells you what are legal and valid. Semantic tells you the meaning. Syntax determines what legal or valid. Semantic determines the meaning of this instruction. Comments are for the programmer, not for the end user / compiler. Two types of comments in C++: single line and multi-line. Special symbols. The smallest individual unit of a program written in any language is called a token. C++ tokens are divided into special symbols, word symbols, and identifiers. First line is mathematical symbols. Second row consists of punctuation mark taken from the English language. Comments in C++ are used to separate items in a list. Semicolons are used to end a statement called also called a statement terminator. A blank is a token that is shown above, created by person, not shown above, created by typing space 1. Third row consists of tokens made up of two characters that are regarded as a single symbol, and no character can come between two characters in the token, not even in blank. Reserved keywords. A second category of tokens are the reserved keywords. Here are some of them: int, float, double char, const, void, return. I don't understand, but I don't know. I think that I may. I think I know. I think that I may know how to do a bool function. Third category of tokens are identifiers, reserve. Like you can overload the special symbols, most of them, but some of them you can't, like size up and stuff like that. The other two, the reserve keywords, you cannot overload them because the reserve keyword they cannot be redefined. Identifiers can be redefined. An identifier it consists of letters. C++ consists of letters, digits, and the underscore character. Let's begin with the letter or underscore. C often predefined identifiers can be redefined. C++ is case sensitive. So if you have like hello, lowercase, uppercase hello, it'll be different. White spaces include blanks, tabs, and new line characters. And are used to separate special symbols, reserved words, and identifiers, primarily used to make the program more legible to read. Data types are objective of C++ programs to manipulate data. C++ has built-in checks to make sure the data you manipulate is the correct type. Data type is a set of values together with a set of allowed operations. It falls into three categories: the simple data type, the structured data type, and pointers. Pointers we're not learning about the class, but good enough to know. Simple data types are fundamental data types because it's a building block. You need to know simple data types or you won't be able to use integer, which is a data type, the data integers or numbers without a decimal part. Further classified as char, short, int, long, bool, unsigned char, unsigned short, unsigned int, unsigned long, 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 and unsigned long, long. Floating point data type is that deals with decimals, so has fractional numbers. Numeric is a user-defined data type. Oh, good thing I remember that 65,036 characters. In data type are numbers without decimal portions. Positive does not mean plus, but negative means minus. No commas are used within an integer 4 bytes. Bool data type, two values, true or false. Called the logical Boolean values, primarily used to manipulate logical Boolean expressions, 1 byte. Char data type used to represent single characters. When used with char, you enclose it in a single quotations. Although I need to look. EBCDIC. Just store a character block, you need 2 bits. Two bytes to store a character from a Unicode. Is that really algorithm? Is that really algorithm? Algorithm is a step-by-step process, and once I gotta find out if it's algorithm. That could be something I messed up in. 15. Maximum number of significant digits is called precision. Sometimes float values are called single precision, while double is called double precision. Or double. By default, floating point numbers are considered a type double. Data type is a variable. An assignment statement to declare a variable data type. Identifier to store a value inside an already declared variable. Variable equals expression. When an expression is valid and a value assigned a variable, equal sign is called the assignment operator. Arithmetic operators and operator present an expression. There's addition operators, subtraction, with mathematical arithmetic operators. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulus remainder. Plus minus multiplication, plus minus multiplication, and division operators can be used both integral and floating point data types. But don't forget, the division operator does not return the remainder or no rounding on any integral data types, and truncates basically destroys or removes any fractional part. Modulus is used only with these integral data types to find the remainder in ordinary division. A variable that appears in front or behind operators are called operands. And front and behind operator, these are the operators. Addition is the operator. A unary operator is the operator that only has one operand. Operand binary operator is the operator that has two operands. Multiplication, division, and modulus must be binary arithmetic. That means 2, while plus and minus are both 1. Because they can insinuate a negative or positive. When more than one arithmetic operator is used to take precedence for as far as right now, it's parentheses, then multiplication, then division, then modulus, then addition, subtraction. If you have no parentheses, it follows the left to right associativity. It finds one, it checks it, then when no parentheses, it goes left to right associativity. If they're on the same level, right? If they're on the same level, it goes left to right. It checks your thing, it checks multiplication, division, and the modulus from left to right, then it checks addition and subtraction from left to right. If they're the same level, it goes from, if they have the same level of precedence, it goes from left to right. 3 types of arithmetic expression. Integral expressions. All operands are expressed in integers. Floating point expression. All operand expressions are floating point. Decimal numbers, mixed integers and decimal. Be careful with mixed expressions, because if they're integral. If they're integral, the integral number is implicitly converted to a decimal number, then the solution is calculated. Then the expression is calculated. So you have to make sure you make it explicit with static underscore cast the data type, let's say double or float. Then what you want to explicitly convert with parentheses. Then you call it some data must be saved. Storing data is a two-step process. Instruct the computer to allocate memory. Include statements in the program to put data into the allocate memory. Name constant. Some data must stay fixed throughout the duration of the program is activated. Name constant is a memory location whose content is not allowed to be changed during program execution. To allocate memory, we use C++ declaration statement. The syntax to declare a name constant is constant data type. All the identifier should be uppercase, and if it has multiple run together words, use an underscore. Constant reserver must be initialized and declared all in a single statement. Because you can't change the data, it has to be all done in a single statement. A variable is a memory location whose content may change on. Basically, a variable is a memory location whose content may change on program execution. C++ programming usually use lowercase, and if it has 2 words combined, the second letter is capitalized. Variable usually means variable memory location. A data type is called simple if a variable or name constant of that type can be stored. I'm gonna step there. Stored. Only one value at a time. Put in data into variables. Either use a C++ assignment statement or import reach statement. Assignment statement is a variable equals expression. a variable set to be initialized the first time a value is placed in the variable. In C++, equal is the equal symbol. The equal is called the assignment operator. So we're using the value of an expression. To save the value expression, use our later expression. Do the following: declare the variable, assign the wherever the value expression you use it. Just because you didn't assign data to a variable, the data from last use initialize. How to put data? We can use the standard input by using the cn. And which is and concurrently we use the stream extraction operator to get from the stream variable initialization assignment statement or read input statement. Increment, decrement, I know this. They have two forms: plus plus. If we get x, if it's pre-increment, it's plus what x. But that way, if it's post-increment variable, x equal 5. Increases value by 1, then a value expression. Increases or decreases the value by 1, then a value expression. While post value of that variable by 1, then it assigns it. While post pre-increment increases or decreases the value of x, let's say, by 1, then add it to y. But post does the expression first. Sets y equal x equals to y equal to x, then evaluates, then adds x, then increases or decreases x. SDCL expression manipulator. Output statement, stream insertion operator. Generating output follows two rules. Expression is a value, and its value is printed at the current insertion point on the output. A manipulator is used to format the output. The simplest manipulator is the std inline. Generating output follows two rules. Expression is the value, and its value is printed at the current insertion point on the output. A manipulator is used to format the output. Easiest, simplest manipulator is the std inline. It's std inline. Outputting or access the value of variable in an expression does not destroy or modify the content of the variable. A string cannot be broken to R's return. A string cannot be broken into more than one line by using the return enter key on your keyboard. You have to use the escape sequence or the end lines, double quotation, string new line character, or char null, or using a char null line character is the same. The escape sequence are the same. / backwards / new line / tab / backspace / return. Insertion moves to the beginning of the current line, not the next line. / backspace / single quotation / double quotation to show. Just preprocessed directives are libraries or processed by a program called the preprocessor. Commands supplied that call the preprocessor to modify the text of a C++ program before it's compiled. All preprocessor commands begin with the number sign. No semicolons at the end of the preprocessor commands because they are not C++ standard statements. To use a header file in C++ program, use the preprocessor directive, the number sign, to indicate the preprocessor directive. All preprocessor directives or libraries are processed by a program called the preprocessor. All preprocessor commands begin with that no semicolons at the end of the preprocessor. To use a header file in C++ program, use the preprocessor directive. Include usually placed at the start of the program. Namespace is used CN. Inside the namespace there is a namespace called std. We use std to scope resolution operators. We call them using namespace std. It should appear after the include IO stream header. Using the string data type in a program must include the string header. Thus, you can now use the string data type. Creating a C++ program. Preprocessor director tell the compiler which header files to include in the program. The program contains statements that accomplish meaningful results. Taken together, the preprocessor directives and the program statement constitute the source code. The file containing the source code is called the source code file or source file. When compiled, it produces the object file, which is then linked with the system resource, and the executable code is produced and saved in the file with the file extension .exe. Int main is called the heading of the function. Body of the function means body function main. Body of the function main. Any declaration statements are used to declare things such as variables. Executable statements perform calculations, manipulate data, create output, and accept input, and so on and so forth. Never use blanks within reserve word or identifiers. Use a semicolon, brackets, and commas. Commas are used in lists. Semicolon is also called a statement terminator. Brackets might be considered delimiters, but they have other uses. Semantics are a set of rules that give meaning to language called semantics. Semantics are the set of rules that give meaning to a language called semantics. While syntax determines if the code is legible or valid or not. Self-document identifiers can make comments unnecessary. Be careful of run-together words when using self-document identifier, which can lessen the clarity of your words. Thus, use an underscore between them. Prompt ones are executable statements that inform the user what to do. When you document slash comment on your program, another program should not be confused and know what happened and what's going on. More on assignment statements. Compound assignment statements is used to write simple assignment statements. Be careful when trying to transition a compound assignment statement to a simple assignment statement, especially if it's multiplication or addition or anything. If it's multiplication, you have to divide it by what you're compounding. Python interpreted algorithm. It's a step-by-step algorithm. It's a step-by-step problem solving. Algorithm is a step-by-step problem solving process in which the solution is right. What I have to do is bold it. Everything I see, like everything that I see that's basic commands. Okay, now I'm gonna take a final break, drink some water. You gotta wet the throat. Okay. This is why Unicode. That's not how it's. Okay, time to do HTML. Okay, chapter 1. Internet on the web, the internet. I'm bolding everything that's can be of letter or verb. The internet is an interconnected network of computer networks that span the globe. Take it slow. Began as a network to connect computers at research facilities and universities. Messages in this network would travel to their destination by multiple routes and paths. This system allowed it to work even if parts were destroyed or broken. The messages will be rerouted through a functioning portion of the network while traveling to its destination. This network was developed by the Advanced Research Projects Agency (ARPA), and the ARPANET was born. The four computers, UCLA, Stanford Research Institute, University of California, Santa Barbara, and University of Utah, were connected by the end of 1969. The National Science Foundation (NSF) network was created, and with the ARPANET, and connected with the ARPANET. Originally, NET was limited to government, research, and educational purposes. Internet use in 1995, 2005, 2010, 2015, 2019, and percentage-wise are 0.4, 5.8, 15.7, 28.8, 45, and 56.1%. This 1995, 2005, 2010, 2015, 1995, 2005, 2010, 2015, 2019, 19, 15, 10, 05, 1995 in the beginning, before 1995, I guess. Commercial use of the internet was allowed in 1991, which set the stage for future electronic commerce, but internet was still text-based back then. While working at CERN, which is the research facility in Switzerland, Tim Berners-Lee created the World Wide Web to have a faster way to reach a research paper and view it, which called Hello There. You called Hyperlink, posted it in the news group and made it freely available. This version used the Hypertext Transfer Protocol (HTTP) to communicate between the client computer and the web server. Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It's not the hypertext markup language. It's the web server. Mosaic in 1994 created the first graphical web browser, which was made by Mark Anderson and grad students working at the National Center for Supercomputer Applications (NCSA) at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign developed Mosaic. People who worked on the team who developed Mosaic worked on the Netscape Navigator, which is the ancestor of Mozilla Firefox. By the early 1990s, a lot of computers had graphic operating systems. CompuServe, AOL, and Prodigy had low-cost internet. The World Wide Web is a The World Wide Web is a graphical user interface to look at information stored on computers running web servers, which are connected to the internet. Had first arrived. Because of the low cost, because of easy access, because of widespread use of graphic web browser, and thus it created a circle that allowed the internet to receive a huge boom. And don't forget the IETF made HTML viable. The internet infrastructure standards are overseen by groups such as the IETF and the Internet Architecture Board. The Internet infrastructure standards are overseen by groups such as the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, and the Internet Architecture Board. IETF is the principal body engaged in the development of new Internet Protocol standard specifications. Open international community of network designers, operators, vendors, and researchers concerned with the evolution of Internet architecture and the smooth operation of the Internet. Actual technical work is split between groups, and those groups are organized into areas by topics such as security and routing. The IAB, the committee of the IETF, provides guidance and broad directions to the IETF, is responsible for the publication of the Request for Comment document series, which is a formal document from the IETF that is drafted by a committee and subsequently reviewed by interested parties. The Request for Comments document series are meant to become Internet standard instead of just information. The Internet Corporation for Assigned Numbers and Names, ICANN, was created in 1988. It is a nonprofit. It gained those goals when the INA handed it back and gave it to them. The primary roles are assignment of internet domain names, IP addresses, protocol parameters, and protocol port numbers. Prior to 1988, the Internet Assigned Number Authority handled this. Now the INA, the Internet AINA, Internet Assigned Number Authority, let me bold that, handled this. Now the INA still performs certain functions under the guidance of ICANN and maintains the website at INA.org. When a company wants to use the internet for communication purposes, they use the intranet or extranet. The intranet is a private network that is contained within an organization's business, primarily for employees. Its purpose is to share information and resources among coworkers. If it is connected to the outside internet, and the internet is usually a gateway or firewall protects the intranet from unauthorized use. They're usually a gateway or firewall that protects the internet from unauthorized access because it's made by employees. Sometimes they connect to the internet. The extranet is a private network that securely shares part of the organization's information or operates with external partners such as suppliers, vendors, and customers. It can be used to exchange data, share information exclusively with business partners, and collaborate with other organizations. Privacy and security are important issues with the extranet. Digital certificates, encryption of messages, and VPNs, virtual private networks, are some technologies that are able to be used to provide privacy and security. The Web Standards and Accessibility. World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, takes a proactive role in developing recommendations and prototype technologies related to the web. Topics that the World Wide Web Consortium, W3C, 3 for Web, World Wide Web, C, addresses include web architecture, standards for web design, and accessibility. An effort to standardize web technologies, the World Wide Web Consortium produces specifications called recommendations. These recommendations are created in working groups with input from many major corporations that are involved with building web technology. Not rules but guidelines. Web Accessibility Initiative, WAI, is a major working area by the W3C. This is taken from the internet, not in the book, but it includes courses, trainings, and certifications on digital accessibility. The web can present barriers for people with disabilities. This is an important part why we need an accessible website which provides for accommodations that help individuals overcome these barriers. The Web Accessibility Initiative has developed recommendations for web content, web authoring tools, web browsers, and web developers of other user agents to facilitate use of the web for those of special needs. So, WCAG, let's see. Web What does WCAG mean? I need to know what the fuck WCAG means. It doesn't explain it in the book. It's a Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. It's Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Is the most recent version. It has more support for mobile devices, people of low vision and cognitive and learning disability accessibility. Americans with Disability Act, ADA of 1990, is a federal civil rights law that prohibits discrimination against people with disability and requires businesses, federal and state services. Business services, federal services, and state services are accessible to individuals with disabilities. Section 508 of the Federal Rehabilitation Act was amended in 1980 to require the U.S. government agencies, business, and to give U.S. government businesses, federal and state, to give individuals with disability access to information technology that's comparable to the access available to others. This law has developers creating it, which is information technology for use by federal government to provide for accessibility. This is it. This is why universal design was built. The GSA government-wide IT accessibility initiative provides accessibility requirement resources for information technology developers. So it gives them requirements, resources where you can find where you need to include on your website, bullshit like that. As tech improves, Section 501 has new requirements, which is not this. Section 508, the new requirement is also known as 508 refresh, became more in line with the WCAG, which is the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines 2.0 guidelines. The 2.0 version, not the 2.1. It was published in 2017. Illinois has their own state level version of the called the Illinois Information Technology Accessibility Act. Universal design is a strategy for making products, environments, operational systems, services welcoming and usable to the most diverse range of people possible. Accessible websites are when features are added and also improves readability and mobile devices such as alternative text for images, headings used in an organized manner. Captions of multimedia also more thoroughly indexed by search engines. Information on the web. You have to, when you look up information on the web, you have to add 3 questions. Is the organization credible? How recent is the information? How 4 questions actually. How recent the information? Is it credible? How often has the information been updated? Is it from a crowdsourced articles? Don't use someone else's work, stuff like that. The World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, is dedicated to protecting intellectual property rights internationally. Creative Commons is a way to retain ownership but make it easier for others to adapt your work. It's a type of copyright license. You retain ownership, but you allow other people to use your work. Network overview. A network consists of 2 or more computers connected for the purpose of communicating and sharing resources. Common components are, which are, a network consists of 2 or more computers connected for the purpose of communicating and sharing resources. Its common components are server computers, client workstation computers, shared devices such as printer, networking devices, which are routers, hubs, and switches, and the media that connect them. Clients are the computer workstations used by individuals, such as a personal computer on a desk. The server receives requests from client computer. These are usually kept in a secure location, only accessible by network administration. It's because there's the thing with the internet, we probably use a backbone to connect to the world. We use there's a backbone that connects from here to another part of the world and stuff like that. Probably use a huge backbone and stuff like that. Networking devices such as hubs and switches provide network connection for computers and routers, direct information from one network to another. Networking devices such as hubs and switches provide network connection for computers and routers, direct information from one network to another. And the hub or switch connect to the server connects to the switch, which connects to the router, which connects to the internet. And which receive a request from the internet, HTTP receives a request from the internet. It sends it from the internet to the router, to the switch, to the server, then to the clients, which is the printer, client, or client. Clients on the computer works used by individuals such as clients are the computer. Clients are the computer workstation used by individuals such as personal computer on the server receives a request from a client computer. These are usually in a secure location, only accessible by network administrations. Like Google has a huge amount of servers for all their websites and shit like that. Networking devices such as hubs and switches provide network connection for the computers and routers, direct information from one network to another. The media connecting these clients, servers, peripherals, and networking devices may consist of copper cables, fiber optic cables, and wireless technologies. Local area network LAN is usually confined to a single building or group of connected buildings. A wide area network WAN is geographically dispersed and usually uses some form of public or commercial communication network. A local area network LAN is usually confined to a single building or group of connected buildings. A wide area network WAN is geographically dispersed and usually uses some form of public or commercial communication network. A backbone is a high-capacity communication link that carries data gathered from smaller links that interconnect with it on the internet. On the internet, a backbone On the internet, a backbone is a set of paths that local or regional network connect to for long distance interconnection. An internet is a group of interconnected networks with very high speed connectivity provided by internet. Interconnected networks. Internet is a group of internet connected. There's two or more computers connected for research and or other for communication purposes. So two or more computers. Imagine two or more computers connected to each other, but this time it's millions of computers connected to each other, where the speed is all provided by the internet backbones. The client/server model dates back to 1980, where multiple computers were joined by the network. The client requests some type of service from the server, and the server fulfills that task and transmits the result to the client over a network. Typically, client and server programs are run on different computers because of the resources used. It's common for a server to handle multiple clients. A web client is connected to the internet when needed, usually runs in a browser, uses Hypertext Transfer Protocol / Hypertext Transfer Protocol S, which is version 2, where you can S basically where you're allowed to basically multiple occurrences of requests you can use with S. Because web pages from a server and receive web pages and files from a server. A web server never be disconnected from the internet. It runs web server software such as Apache or the Internet Information Services (IIS) uses HTTP or HTTPS. That's how it's going to run. Use HTTPS or HTTPS, which receives a request for a web page, responds to the request, and transmits status code to the web page and associated stuff. When client servers exchange files, they need to indicate a type of file being transferred Hello, Alien Gathering. How are you? Markup language considers a direction that tells the broader software how to display and manage documents. These directions are usually called tags. Form functions such as displaying graphics, formatting text, and referencing hyperlinks. Standard generalized markup language is a standard for specifying a markup language or tag set. Not a document language, but a description of how to specify one and create a document type definition. Deliberately created HTML using the standard generalized markup language, which is used to specify how a markup language or tag set. The hypertext markup language HTML is a set of markup symbols or codes placed in a file intended for display on a web page, which then renders the coding in the HTML file and displays the web page document and associated files. World Wide Web Consortium creates the standards. Extensible markup language XML is developed by the World Wide Web Consortium as a flexible method to create common information formats and share the format and information on the web. It is a text-based syntax designed to describe, deliver, and exchange structured information. It is not intended to replace HTML, but extend the power by separating data from presentation. Using this, developers can create whatever tag they need to describe information. Extensible hypertext markup XHTML uses tags and triples of HTML4 along with the more regular syntax of XML. Used on the web for over a decade, World Wide Web Consortium decided to make an updated version, but nope. They decided no. I think Internet Explorer said no. Literally, Internet Explorer said no. They decided nope. HTML5 is a newer version of HTML. Hold up, wait a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Um, oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. You're gonna give me the midterm exam questions. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for giving me the midterm exam question. I love it. Oh my god, I love when professors do this. A week 5, where project 1 is due. Week 6. Week 7. So we're gonna do a web project. You're gonna give me final exam question? Ooh, let's go. The final web project is. Ooh. Ooh. Thank you. HTML5 is the newest version of HTML successor. HTML4 replaces XHTML. HTML5 incorporates features of both HTML and XHTML as new elements, provides new features such as formatting the native video and backwards compatible. World Wide Web Consortium reached the final recommendation status for HTML5 in 2004, basically like 1.0. HTML5 is basically 1.0. HTML 5.0 may continue to improve it by adding new elements, trimming and features, which update to HTML 5.1 late 2017. Number 5 reached final recommendation status. 5.3 was in working draft status. Popular uses of the web: e-commerce, buying and selling goods and services on the internet; mobile access, accessing the web on the mobile devices; blog is a journal that is available on the web; wiki are basically crowdsourced information that is not accurate because it can be updated by anyone. Blogs and wikis provide web visitors with new methods for interacting with websites and other people. A use referred to as social network. When you combine blogs and wikis, it's um, it's kind of considered social networking. Twitter is a social network site for microblogging. Microblogging, or frequently communicating with brief messages, called a tweet. Users are called tweeters. The National Institute of Standards and Technology (NIST) defines cloud computing as the on-demand use of software and other computing resources hosted at a remote data center, which includes servers, storage, services, and applications. Really simple syndication or rich site summary (RSS) is used to create news feeds from blog posting and other websites. The RSS feeds contain a summary of new items posted to the site. The URL of the RSS feed is usually indicated by the letters XML and the white text within an orange rectangle. A newsreader is needed to access the information. The newsreader pauses the feed URL at intervals and displays the new headlines when requested. RSS provides web developers with a method to push new content to interested parties. Podcasts are audio files on the web that take the format of an audio blog, radio show, or interview. Microblogging, if I'm correct, is a frequently communicating with brief message. HTML 2. HTML overview. Markup language considers a set of directions that tell the broader software how to display and manage a web document. Tim Berners-Lee created HTML with the standard generalized markup, which is how you specify and gives you a document how to specify a markup language with how to specify with tags and text and tags, I think. Prescribed a standard format embedding descriptive markup within a document and for describing a structure of a document. Just describe how to specify and create a document type definition. World Wide Web Consortium set the standard for HTML and related languages. HTML is in the content state of change. HTML is a set of markup symbols or codes placed in a file that is intended to display on a web page. XML, Extensible Markup Language, is developed by the World Wide Web Consortium to create comments, information, and share that format and information on the web. Text-based syntax designed to describe, deliver, and exchange structured information, such as RSS feed, not intended to replace HTML but extend the power by separating data from presentation. Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. Extensible Hypertext Markup Language. It uses a tagged and true HTML4 along with the syntax of XML. It was used for web over a decade. You find many web pages. 2.0 is in development, but not backwards compatible. Internet Explorer said, nah, you good. It works in HTML5. HTML5 is successful. HTML4 and replaces Extensible Hypertext Markup Language and incorporates features from HTML and Extensible. Just remember, Extensible Hypertext Markup Language uses tags and triples of HTML4 along with syntax of XML. It's XML is common information format and shared format information on the web. Well, XML is basically shared information format and the tagged and triples of HTML4. Second version got defunct. HTML5 is a successor of HTML4, replaces the XML common information format and HTML4 tags and attributes, and incorporates features from HTML and HTML4. And an extensible hypertext markup language, and adds new elements and ORM provides new features such as formatted native and intended to be backwards compatible. The World Wide Web Consortium and the Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group, fucking name, agreed to collaborate on the development of HTML5 specifications. The World Hypertext Application Technology Working Group is the open group founded by individuals working on many different technology organizations and blah blah blah. The document type definition: the World Wide Web Consortium recommends identifying the type of markup language used in a web page document and document type definition (DTD). This identifies the version of HTML contained in your document browsers, and HTML code validators can use the information in document type definition processing the web page. The first line of a web page document: doc type HTML. Web page template. Every web page you create will include the document type definition, the HTML head, title, meta, and body element. Follow the coding style to use lowercase letters and place quotes around the attribute values. Doc type HTML, HTML lang type attribute, title attribute. Title attribute, lang attribute equals n. Heading tag, title, meta, style, or script. Embodiedness. The purpose of the HTML element is to indicate the document is HTML format and tells about how to interpret the document. Two text on a web page is called the head. On a web page, called the head, contains information that describes the web page. And body, it contains the actual tags, text, image, and other objects that are displayed on the basically the main page. Head elements are located in this area, include the title of the web page, meta, describes the document. Head basically that describes the document. The head HTML tells how to interpret the document. Indicate the document is HTML formatted and tells the browser how to interpret it. While the head it contains information that describes the document, HTML, and how to interpret. Indicate the document is HTML format and how to interpret it. Head is how it describes the information on the contains information that describes the web page document. Body contains like the actual meat, the actual tags, text, image, and other projects. We always code at least two other elements in the head section: a title element and a meta tag. Title, the first element in the head section. Title element configures the text that will appear on the title bar. Meta element describes the characteristic of a web page, such as the character encoding. Meta describes the characteristic of a web page, such as character encoding. Character encoding is the internal representation. Let me bold this so my brain. Character encoding is an internal representation of letters, numbers, symbols in a file such as a web page and other file that is stored on a computer and may be transmitted over the internet. It is common practice to use a character encoding set such as UTF-8, which is a form of Unicode. Meta tag is not used as a pair of opening and closing tag. It's a void or standalone tag. Meta character set equals UTF Unicode. I think isn't this ASCII2 or Unicode? Yeah, I think this is ASCII2. Like ASCII2. Body contains text. Yeah, I think it's ASCII2 because if I'm correct, HTML5 was developed in C++. The body element contains the body section with start and end with slash body. Most time writing code, then you end first heading element, H1 through H6. The text contained with the head is rendered as a block of text. Displays with empty space. Size of the text is larger H1, smaller H6. Is the container element number, it has to open and close. All text contained within the tag is displayed in bold font weight. Heading tags can make your website more accessible and is a good coding practice to use heading tags to outline the structure of the web page. Paragraph element. group sentences and sections together using the opening and closing container tag P. Alignments and heading tag begin on the left margin, except for the block hole where it begins at the left, but it's also indented on the right. Line break, it causes the browser to advance to the next line before displaying the next element or portion of the text on the web page. Block hole elements users display a block of and text in a special way. It's indented from both the left and the right margins. A block of indented text begins with the block quote tag and ends with the block quote. Only correct use of block quote element is only for displaying large blocks of quoted text within a web page. Avoid using block text to indent text. Phrase elements indicate the context and meaning of the text between the container tags. So these have to be used between the container tags. Up to each browser to interpret this out, phrase elements are displaying right in line with the text, referred to as inline display. It can apply to a section of text or even just a single character of text. These texts semantically describe the text as a citation or definition, but the physical display might be similar. Abbreviation, identify the text as abbreviation. B, abbreviation phrase element. Abbreviation container phrase element. Identify text as abbreviation. B, container B phrase element. Text that has no extra importance. Container cite phrase element cite text. Identify the citation or reference. Container element. Container element code phrase. Container code element. Code is a container element, which is also a phrase element. Code and identifies program sample. DFN definition of a word. DFN definition of word. Identify the definition of word or term. EM emphasize text. This is the phrase element, which is a container. Causes text to be emphasized in relation to the other text, usually displayed as in italics. I, which is a container element, part of a phrase element, which is text that has no importance but is usually italicized. KBD keyboard text, which is a container element, part of the phrase element group. It identifies user text to be typed. Mark is a phrase element. It's also a container. It's used to text that is highlighted in order to be reasonably read. SAMP element, SAMP container element, which is part of the phrase container element group, which is shows program sample output. Small element, small container element, which are legal disclaimers and notices. Fine print displayed in small font size. Strong text. Strong container element, which is a phrase element, which is the container element. Is a strong component causes text to stand out from surrounding text. Subcontainer element will display the subscript below the baseline. Sub display the superscript and the small text above the baseline. Var identifies and displays the variable or program output. Good problem solving. I'm probably nested code will not pass validation testing. Order list, don't forget the type. To change the order list, you gotta use type. Order lists are displayed. Display the numbering of letters to itemize information containing list. The default, they start with numerals or numbers. Don't forget with order lists, begin with OL. Each order list container element with then it's indented. The list indented container element. The purpose of attribute is to modify the property of an HTML element. The type attribute configures the symbol used for ordering the list. The type attribute for the ordering list. The default, you only change it I Roman numerals. Star attribute is useful when you need a list to begin with an integer value other than 1. Use the HTML5 reverse set reversed equals reversed to configure the list marker to display in descending. Type 1, type Unordered list. Displays the bullet or list marker before each entry on the list. Type of bullet can be one as a white disc, square, or circle. On order list, UL, then list item as usual, and make sure to indent it inside of it. Or you can change how the aesthetic of the list appear with CSS. Description lists are used to organize DL, description list, description term, and description DD. All indented, don't forget. Description lists can be used to organize terms and their description. The terms stand out, and the description can be as long as needed to convey your message. Each term begins on its own line at the margin. Each description begins on its own line and is indented, handy for answering frequently asked questions and their answers. Any type of information that consists of a number of corresponding terms and longer descriptions as well, suited to be organized in a description list. Description is the heading, description term, description definition. Description list tags, DL. Each term and name begin with description term. Each description begins with DD. Special characters start with the ampersand and BSP. Non-breaking space, see copyright. Means you want quotation, ampersand number 39, apostrophe, copyright, ampersand copy, ampersand, AMP. Don't forget to put a statement terminator, non-breaking space, ampersand MBSP, ampersand M dash, long dash, ampersand number 124 vertical bar. HTML integers and number semantic structure that can be used to configure special areas on the web page. These new HTML5 header, nav, main, and footer elements are intended to be used in conjunction with the div and other guess I'm done with the stream for now. That's it took me an hour 40 minutes. A good thing that they're gonna one teacher is one professor is gonna provide me midterm questions that I need to know. That's good. I can just look it in, make a new document. Question this. What's this? But what's this? But what's this? But what's this? But what's this? But. Okay. I'm gonna come back later on and study more and so then I'm gonna start. Then when I do the test, before I take a test, I study on Saturday so many times, and study Sunday. I study one or more two times. Like I study Monday through Friday throughout the week. I study this, like 2 times a day, 2 to 3 times a day, 2 times a day, a minimum 2 times to up to 3. Like I study in the morning, both of them. Then I study like both classes. I've taken 2 classes. I study both classes on Monday. Let's say Monday, right? I write the new. First I copy the new notes. Once I'm done writing the new notes and read through both books and stuff like that, then I copy do new shit and stuff like that. Then once I do copy both once I'm done with Monday, looking at notes and seeing what discussion topics and stuff like that, and stuff on that similar, writing and reading the discussions and stuff like that, then once I read and view all the notes and shit like that, then then and only then and only then, after I read it once, I do the discussion questions. Once I'm done with the discussion questions for both classes, then I study both of them, both classes. Then I study both classes. Once I'm done studying both classes, I start both classes, homework and program assignments, and web project and stuff, the final midterm projects and stuff like that. Then, at the same time I study, I do the discussion, get them out the way, Wednesday do the replies and stuff like that. I get the discussion out of the way because they're doing Wednesday, get them out the way the same day, Monday, get them out the way, then continue on. And also while I'm doing the projects, I listen. I listen to the notes on repeat, on the annoying repeat. All right, thank you for tuning in. I'll come back later when I need to study more.